Hello, hello, and welcome to Oracle Hour. My name is Sabrina Rising. I'm a spiritual teacher and a psychic medium, and it's my honor to channel spirit on your behalf. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's broadcast. It's my honor to be with you live, as usual, on Wednesdays and Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific. Tonight, we're in this liminal phase between, Christmas and New Year's, sort of like the void experience that I feel on a very real level. I feel it physically. I feel very tired. I feel a need to slow down. I feel a need to integrate and reflect. It's such a beautiful period of time, and we're going to talk a little bit about this tonight, about the in-between phase and being in these final stages of a year 9, for example, and final stages of 2025 as well. If you don't participate in numerology, simply just the end of the year as well, just reflecting on the year that we've had and the lessons that we've learned, what we're letting go of, what no longer serves us, and reaching that point of inner peace. This is such a beautiful time to cultivate inner peace, to rest, to relax, to move into the coming year with ease and with awareness. And it's so important, especially during this phase of the year where we're not really rushing to do things. We're not like pushing ourselves forward. We're really taking time to just not to be in that sort of, I don't know what to do next. This is an okay place to be. I know it can be very uncomfortable for those of us that are high achievers, that are high performers, that want to think about what's next, or, what we're going to do next in January and how we're going to move forward and so on. But it's so important to give yourself this time to integrate and to honor 2025 and all the gifts that it brought, all the lessons that it brought, and really sort of acknowledge ourselves perhaps for the growth that we've allowed. Any resistances that we've had, we can meet with self-compassion and non-judgment, and we can just release that back into the universe, into spirit, and move forward, just simply, gently, and without rushing into the new year. Okay, so that's my message for you tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about this liminal phase and how the void can bring up a lot of grief, can bring up a lot of different types of emotions, and how to deal with them. Okay. For those of you that are new here, welcome. Put your question in the chat. I answer questions on a first come, first serve basis, unless, of course, you are a YouTube member, you're a channel member, in which case you get priority in the chat. You can join my channel on this link. Lyriel is here tonight. She's moderating all our questions. She'll put the link up on the screen for you to click on join, so you can join as a channel member. Members get, there's the link. Thank you, Lyriel. Members get priority access in the chat, so you get readings first. I answer your questions first. And of course, I go a little bit deeper with you because you are a paying member. Also, you get access to all of my exclusive content on YouTube, my courses, my workshop, my mediumship demonstrations, my psychic channeling events. All that's yours for the membership fee. And you also get access to the Oracle Gathering, which is a free live event I do every month. I do one a month. It's a psychic / mediumship demonstration that I do. It's a Zoom environment. We all interact on screen. Everybody gets a message from spirit, from their loved ones, from their higher self. And there's a beautiful integration portion that happens as well afterwards. Okay, so all that is there for you to consider while you stay for the whole broadcast. I say this every time because those of us that come together at this time, in this moment, are here usually with a similar inquiry, a similar fear. There's something that we're grappling with, and there's always a theme in Oracle Hour. So the questions that are asked and the messages that come through are for all of us, myself included. Okay, so if you were drawn here tonight, it's not an accident. You didn't just happen to be here. This is not random. There's no random acts in the universe. You're here for a reason. So pay attention to the readings that come through. Even if you don't get your question answered, listen for any breakthroughs or any awareness, any aha moments in your own life as I interact with another participant. Okay, we are streaming live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. Instagram, I know you can't see me properly, but we are working on that. That means that if you want to have your questions answered, so many of you join us on Instagram and I can't see you. You can see me, but I can't see you. So come and join us on YouTube at Sabrina Rising and put your question in the chat. Lyriel always puts the link to join us in my stories. So you can go and find me there and come and join us during this broadcast so you can get your own reading and have your own sort of questions answered and gain clarity for whatever it is that you might be struggling with in your life. There's no question that you can't ask here. Okay, we can ask about your relationship, your financial situation, if you want just a general message. If you are specifically requiring or requesting mediumship, if that's something you already know that you deeply desire, please book a reading. A one-to-one environment is much more conducive to that level of connection between you, me, and your loved one. It's very challenging to can do mediumship over this in this format, or you can come to Oracle Hour where we can see each other and we can interact on screen, and you can receive a mediumship message there. Okay. That said, mediumship does happen on the show. I just can't guarantee it. So if your loved ones are here while I'm interacting with you, of course, I will always convey the message. All right. So for those of you that are sort of in that, as I was explaining before, we were talking about, this liminal phase between Christmas and New Year's, sort of void that we're in, and the void happens on a moment-to-moment basis. It happens every day when you're in transition from one thing to the next. It can be between activities. It can be between thought processes. It can be between interactions with your loved ones. There's always a stage of leaving what's behind and moving into what's next. And as human beings, we're so wired to either think about the past or be concerned about the future that oftentimes we don't really take a moment to just be present with what is right here, right now. Even if there's nothing pulling you forward, even if you're in a place right now where you don't have goals or you're not clear on what 2026 is going to be for you. Perhaps you have a bunch of different desires or different wishes or different things that you would like to see made manifest, but you're not sure how to get there. This is perfectly okay. In fact, this phase of the year is for this integration, deep reflection, deep awareness process. And if you take the time to really honor this phase, you'll find that you feel more complete with 2025. You feel more complete with any situation. For example, it could be a relationship that you're letting go of, a job, a habit, a way of operating, whatever it is that you're not taking with you into the new year, into the next phase, when you just know that you're done. Make sure that you're present to why you're letting it go, what it has served you, any emotions that it might stir up in you. It can be grief, it can be excitement, it can be joy, it can be fear, sometimes letting go of something that we've outgrown. The title for tonight is how do you know when you've outgrown your old life? And this can happen, especially if you're doing personal development work, you're a person who's spiritually inclined, who has a practice. We start to feel like, okay, this doesn't fit me anymore. It can be a way of operating. It can be a style. It can be a method of speaking. It can be something that you've been involved in, an activity. It can be a relationship. It can be anything that you're participating in where you're all of a sudden feeling like, okay, this isn't a reflection of who I am anymore. And this is a sign of growth. It's a sign of expansion. It's a sign of you wanting to up level, whatever that looks like for you, or just grow beyond your current capacity. When you start to feel like totally outgrown old life. Yeah, good. There you go. You're in the right place. We're going to talk about how that can feel uncomfortable. Okay. So, when you're just like, this doesn't work for me anymore, but I don't know where I'm going next. This void, a period of transition is meant to feel like you're not supposed to know. And there's something really beautiful about getting comfortable with the unknown, being comfortable with the unseen. Of course, I can speak to this directly as a medium and a channel. I'm always bringing in messages from the unseen realm. I can't see, feel, touch, or experience the 3D version of whatever it is I'm communicating, but I know it's there and I know it's real and I feel it. Right. And so this is so important to get comfortable with the unknown, and this is where we want to develop a practice that allows us to really trust that life is never happening to us. It's always happening for us. I was just talking to Lyra about that just before coming online with you. And it's such an empowering concept in spiritual practice because it allows us to see our circumstances as opportunities for growth, opportunities for expansion, opportunities to process any emotions that are unresolved. In fact, if you are letting go of something significant and you know that you've outgrown your life, whether it's your habits, your environment, your location, your job, your relationships, whatever it is that you feel that you've outgrown, your income level, whatever it is you've outgrown, as you make a conscious decision to let this go and you set an intention with spirit to partner with you and say, I'm ready to release this. I'm ready to give this back to wherever it came from. I'm ready to release it back into the universe and honor the presence that it had, the role that it played in my life. It can bring up grief, right? It can bring up sadness. It can even bring up fear because we're comfortable. There's a part of us that wants change. You've outgrown your life, but there's also a certain level of safety and comfort and familiarity in what you've been living so far. Okay. So this stepping into the unknown means I'm willing to be uncomfortable. I'm willing to not know and to allow that to be a source of strength and excitement even, and allow it to deepen my trust in my relationship with spirit. Okay, it's a lot easier to trust the unknown when you have a relationship with some kind of higher power, some kind of spiritual practice that allows you to lean into whatever that is for you. It can be nature, it can be God, it can be the God of your understanding, it can be universal intelligence, spirit, whatever you choose to call it. We need some type of connection in order to feel like in those moments when I have nothing to really anchor myself to in the 3D world, there's nothing that I can really identify with that feels expansive or feels like me or feels like home yet, especially when I'm in this, as we're talking about tonight, this liminal phase of having outgrown something, but I don't know where I'm going yet. When I don't have something I can anchor myself to, I always have my relationship with spirit. And this is a eternal, unconditional, ever-present reality for each and every single one of us that chooses to tap into this truth and to live by this truth. There's been so many times in my life where I have reinvented myself, where I have, I've moved around, I've lived in different places, I've had, different relationships. I've started one of the signature hallmarks of my personal human, journey during this current incarnation is that how many times I've had to start over. And it's not because my life wasn't working. It's just because there was something new for me to lean into. I've always been committed to growing and expanding and leaning into my soul nudges, which meant I had to get really comfortable with the unknown. And the only way to really do that is when you have a relationship with something bigger than you, because you know that it's not just you alone trying to figure out what your next move is. If you don't have a spiritual practice, if you're not leaning into something bigger than you, then it can feel very overwhelming. You can be stuck in the mind trying to figure out what the next right thing is, be riddled with doubt and second guessing. Should I, shouldn't I, what's right for me, and so on. We can worry even about our future. Okay. And this is a very common human experience, especially for those of us who don't have a practice to, that allows us to set intentions, to receive information, whether it's in the form of symbols, messages, dreams, guidance from our loved ones, whatever your practice entails. Hopefully it's all of the above. Okay. And that's part of what we do here on Oracle Hour is we talk about how to develop a practice, how to integrate all of these signs and symbols in your everyday life so that you understand, even though there's nothing happening for you maybe on the 3D yet, there are messages and there's guidance and there is help and support coming through you as long as you open up your awareness to it and allow it to reveal itself to you. This, of course, is up to you to have this practice. Okay. So, and oftentimes I find, especially in my work, when I don't have the answer right away, I don't necessarily know what 2026 is going to look like. I have some intentions. I have some desires of what I would like to see made manifest. And I have a willingness to take the actions that feel aligned when they feel aligned, to move into those actions and not a minute sooner. Okay, this is so important. As soon as you have some idea of not necessarily what you want to do, because the details don't matter. It's not about outcomes. It's about the experience you're having. So take a moment as you're reflecting on your life in 2025 and letting go of this life that you've outgrown and maybe not knowing where you're going to go or what new identity you're going to create for yourself or what direction you're going to take. But we all know how we want to feel. We all know that. We know that we want to feel deeply fulfilled. We want to feel deep inner peace. We want to feel joyful, abundant, connected to each other, to ourselves. And so as you focus on cultivating those feelings and really practicing cultivating those feelings on a daily basis, making that part of your practice, the inspiration starts to trickle in. the ideas, the downloads, the soul nudges start to move energy in your life. And if you're paying attention, if you're aware of it, you can start to lean into those soul nudges. And you can even set an intention with spirit and say, look, I don't need to see the whole map, but just show me the next step. Show me the next right step that I can lean into that's going to align with whatever serves my highest and best good. Okay. This is so important, especially for those of you that have a serious spiritual practice. We're not trying to achieve outcomes. Okay. The tangible evidence of a successful life, or what you deem to be successful life, is beautiful, but it's bonus material. Okay, what we're really here to accomplish is a deep sense of inner peace and connectedness and awareness that we are expressions of source consciousness, to liberate ourselves from all of this human suffering. Okay, this is what we're all here to do in one way or another, and everybody has their own soul blueprint to accomplish that. So as we come to the end of this year, please take some time to really reflect on what this year has represented for you personally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in terms of relationships, in terms of money, in terms of goals, in terms of whatever it is, whatever the circumstances are in your life, and surrender those results and say, this is what I did, and now I have no idea what I'm going to be able to do next, but I'm inviting in a more expansive, a more freeing, a more easeful way of operating that allows me to really enjoy and savor every moment of every day. Okay. And this is of course, my wish for you and my wish for all beings everywhere, is that we step out of performance mode and worrying about what's going to happen, and really just fall into the present moment and just trusting that we're exactly where we're supposed to be, having the experience we're supposed to have, even when we don't know what it is. Okay. It's okay not to know. And the relationship, the safety that you can cultivate within yourself in the realm of the unknown and unseen, allows you to develop so much inner strength and inner resilience and equanimity, that when things happen, for example, something doesn't go your way, or things don't turn out the way you want them to, for example, you have that inner resilience in place. Okay, because we're not attaching ourselves to outcomes. What we're doing is we're making peace with not knowing, trusting that everything is always well, no matter what. And in that place of neutrality, there we can start to set intentions for how we want to feel, day by day, and let those, again, those inspirations, those soul nudges come in and inform our experience, inform our thought process, inform our language, and the actions we're going to take moving forward into the coming year. Okay, so if you don't have a spiritual practice, please get one. Start creating one, develop one. It can be 5 to 10 minutes every day of silence, of just sitting in your own energy. Start communicating with your higher self. It's you. You're talking to the highest expression of you that's fully fulfilled on its own timeline, that we're always trying to align with. So you can have this relationship with your higher self and ask it for guidance, and ask it for reassurance, and ask it for the comfort it is that you seek in these moments of unknown, and watch what happens. Watch how the ideas start to trickle in, the inspiration starts to trickle in, things start to become more and more clear. Okay, right now, as we're in this sort of nebulous in-between phase, it's okay for it to be that. Just rest and relax and trust that you're being guided and provided for every step of the way. Of course, it's my honor to guide you during this broadcast, and for those of you that come here regularly, to answer questions and to make sure that you're in alignment with your higher self. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in with me. Please say hello. If you're new here, say hello in the chat. Introduce yourself to us. Hello, Amy. Good to see you. Hi, Shiloh. Welcome back. Hi, Elizabeth. Yay, we have a new member. Hi, Amy. Welcome to our family, our Oracle family. It's good to have you here. Hi, Sybil. Hi, Demi. Hello, Steffi. Good to have you back. Jolie, welcome back. Rhonda, oh my goodness, it's a full house tonight. All right, beautiful. I'm so happy to have you all with me here live. If you have any questions about this, as we're talking about this in-between phase, the void phase, how do I get comfortable with the void? How do I let go of my old life? And even when I don't know where I'm going, please put those questions in the chat. I'd love to answer them. In the meantime, what's Rhonda saying? Rhonda's saying, I'm here for confirmation. What's Rhonda saying? Muriel? Here we go. I'm here for confirmation, and of course, I'm getting it. I have I have spoken that I'm ready to let go of whatever no longer serves me and allow. Are there any messages for me? Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Okay, I will get to you definitely. Okay, Lyra, I'll let you be in charge of the chat. Who is first? Hi, Lovin. Lovin says, hi, Sabrina. Hi, everyone. Welcome back, by the way. It's good to see you again. What is the most important boundary my soul wants me to honor in this season? What am I not seeing clearly about my current situation that spirit wants me to know? Okay, I love this question, by the way. I love the way you formulated the question. So your soul is already free. Okay, this is true for you and for everybody watching. This is a deeply spiritual question. Your soul is not encumbered by the relationships, the entanglements that your human self, 3D self, has chosen to um, grapple with in this current incarnation, okay, during this lifetime. All right. So, okay, so specific to your situation, I'm going to give you, I always like to answer these questions in two ways. I'll give you my psychic kit and my spiritual guidance. Um, okay, so there is some codependent behavior. And I say this with love and respect. Okay. I'm usually very direct, and you know this because you've been here before. There's a codependent behavior. There's a tendency to blame, and there's a tendency to feel victimized by your current situation, whatever the relationship entails. This has to do with the father of your children, and it has to do with um, it's not just him though. This comes from a deeper, she says, for sure. Okay, good. So what happens, the relationship with your partner, ex-partner, feels like a separated partner. There's distance between you and your partner at this time. Um, is a reflection of whatever beliefs you have of your relationship to the masculine, which actually comes from the relationship with your dad. Okay, so part of what you're not seeing is that you're looking for something from him that you're not willing to meet in yourself. Okay, and that's the work you need to do, is what do I need in order to have my needs met? What are my needs first and foremost? Most people have no idea what they are. Okay, it took me well into my 30s to figure out that I even had needs. So you're not alone. Okay, nobody's judging you. This is very human. All right, so take a moment to really think about what your needs are, and then and are you willing to meet them for yourself? It's unreasonable to be in a relationship or to try and repair a relationship in your current situation and expect your partner to help you meet needs that you are not meeting for yourself. Okay, this is unreasonable. It's like wanting someone to love you in spite of your lack of self-love. This is, again, not going to work out the way you want it to. Okay, because everything reflects everything, and we can only be in relationship with whatever it is we're in coherence with. And so if you are lacking in self-love, you're going to magnetize a person who's also lacking in self-love and who will meet you in those areas of where you are lacking in self-love. Okay, so this is what you're not seeing. What you're not seeing is that you want the relief. So here's a couple more details for you. She says, understood. Yes. Okay, good. So a couple more details for you. You want the old relationship back, but you can't have it back. Okay. What you need is a new relationship with this person. Things are never going to go back to the way they were. They're never going to go back to how it was before you had kids or before any of this happened. Okay. And it feels like there's been infidelity. It feels like there's been betrayal, or that is this type of drama in your current situation. So, I know that this is where your heart is, because you want stability for your family and stability for yourself and stability for your kids. And you want to be free of this toxicity, whether that means staying with him or moving on to someone new. I don't advise that currently. I think there's a real body of work here for you to do in terms of healing. What's being triggered here is, she says, yes. Okay, good. So what's being triggered here is your you do feeling abandoned, feeling betrayed, feeling let down, feeling unwanted, rejected, unloved. All of these feelings sound familiar, right? When you think about the relationship you had with your dad, what it felt like to be his daughter, what it felt like to be, in that situation. And so this is how we play out the drama of our childhoods over and over and over again in all of our adult relationships until we take 100% responsibility. She says, yes, okay, good. Thank you for acknowledging. It takes courage to admit this, okay? It really, really does. I want you to see that what there is here for you to do is to choose yourself, is to love yourself, I know it sounds so cliche. Of course, everybody's going to tell you to love yourself, but this is really the work. This is the work, is you choosing yourself and choosing to love all those parts of you that you it feels like you're feeling burnt out, stressed, unattractive, second guessing your worth. It's a part of you that just wants to see how other men respond to you because you just want to start over. You want to feel that sense of as a part of you that just wants to leave this all behind and see what you can create with someone new, right? But you're not going to create something new with someone new because wherever you go, there you are. Right. So you're going to end up seeing yourself in this, in all of these relationships. You're going to end up seeing what's mirroring back to you is your own deep sense of inadequacy, your own fears of being rejected and abandoned. Okay. So again, this is a call for a spiritual practice. You need a spiritual practice going to help you lean into your own self-worth, your own self-connection. This is the boundary. You're talking about boundaries. Part of the boundary is you letting go of the codependent need for a man in your life in order to feel solid, safe, special, significant. Okay. This is what you need to let go of. You are worthy. You are a sovereign being. You are, self-governing, self-realizing, self-affirming, and resilient. Right. So this is the work that needs to be done in order for you to be able to move forward with any kind of integrity in any relationship, whether it's with the father of your children or the next guy or the next guy. Okay. This is the externalization of love is not ever going to feel fulfilling or satisfactory, nor is it ever going to be sustainable. Okay. She says, well, those are my feelings. Yes, work to be done. Yes, of course they're your feelings. So, this is the work that needs to be done. It's inner child work. Everybody needs to do inner child work, by the way. Nobody gets a pass. Nobody gets to skip over this. Okay. If you haven't done your inner child work, you haven't done any work as far as I'm concerned in terms of healing. All right. So you got to go back and look at your beliefs, where you've learned them, how they show up in your body, how you feel, how they feel in your body, and how they're showing up in your life today. Okay. So I recommend, if you haven't joined my channel, please do, because there's all kinds of courses you can watch on inner child work, on releasing imprints from childhood, on deconditioning, developing inner peace, developing equanimity and sovereignty. Okay. A lot of childhood trauma. Yeah, of course, I feel that. And I'm not trying to put pressure on you because I know you're a mom, and I know as a mom, you probably want to do the best for your kids. We all do. Right. So, but the work that you don't do, what you don't clear in yourself, you are literally passing on to your children. Okay. This is whatever you don't heal, they're going to have to do that work. All right. And this is why we call it generational trauma, because it gets passed down from generation to generation. It's not because obviously you're not traumatizing your kids the way you were traumatized. I already know that about you. I can feel that in spirit, but the experience and yes, right. And the what you're holding onto in your body, they feel it. Children play out the unconscious beliefs that we carry. They play out all of our unresolved issues so that they can work them out. Okay. This is the ancestral line that we're all working with when we do deep, deep healing work, especially on a soul level. Of course, I work on a psychic level, spiritual level, not just emotional and physical. Okay. Understood. She says, good. So this is the work you need to do. And that's the boundary for you: sovereignty and stepping out of codependence and taking personal responsibility. Okay. She says, absolutely. Good. Beautiful. And when you do that work, your whole relationship is going to shift. Your whole universe is going to shift, but your marriage can actually has a new foundation. Okay. This relationship with the father of your children has a new foundation. And it's only when you do that work that you can decide whether or not this is a relationship you can stay in. Because until you do that work, the choice you're making is just to avoid. Okay. And I say that with love and respect. All right. That's my message for you. Thank you for being here tonight. Beautiful. Okay. Who's next? Rhonda says, I'm here for confirmation. Of course, I'm getting it. Okay, yeah. Anything, anywhere. I read this part already. Whatever no longer serves me. Are there messages for me? Yes. All right, let me see what I have for you, Rhonda. There's a real steadiness in you that's developing. And by the way, I threw out the sugar last week. Okay, good. Beautiful. That was last week's message. Let's see what you have to throw out this week. Of course, I'm just kidding, but there's always letting go. I mean, letting go is a way of living, especially for me. And if you're someone who has a spiritual practice, you'll notice that letting go is a part of your practice, right? Where you're just like letting go of old thoughts, letting go of resentments, letting go of beliefs, letting go of clutter, letting go of things that no longer serve becomes like a regular thing. So the message I'm channeling for you as I was feeling into it is there's a steadiness that's developing in you. It's a real solid aspect of your spirit that's now really landing, and it feels like it's grounded in your physical body. Okay, so I actually feel like you're sleeping better and that you have been for quite some time. Your nerves have settled. It feels like you're really in a regular practice as well. Um, and uh, and so I love that. I love that for where you are right now, and really just learning to love your own company, not from a place of self-protection, but from a place of like um, self-honoring. Okay, just learning to love your own company and learning to really honor yourself in every way. It's really showing up physically for you as well. Okay. um, Messages about going forward. I think you're going to ease into 2026. I don't see any big moves. I don't see any like sudden changes. In fact, not a lot is changing on the physical plane. Okay, so I don't see a relocation or anything like that. I do see new opportunities to express your gifts. So there is either something you can do to help people heal or to help awaken others, even something in your community. There's wisdom that you're sharing. So again, there's a steadiness developing in you that really feels like mastery at this stage of your life, where now you're learning to share your wisdom with other people. And I actually feel, Rhonda, that you might be going back to some kind of community or something like that where you could speak, or you could be a speaker or be a guide of some kind, or share your experience, strength, and hope with other people so that they can really feel empowered. Okay, so there's a lot of cultivated experiential wisdom here that you're going to share this year, which is going to bring you a lot of joy and will bring you new relationships as well. Okay, she says, I do feel steady. I spent Christmas with myself and enjoyed it. Good, beautiful. That's exactly how I feel. This like really anchored, embodied presence. Like I just love me and I honor me, and I'm so in love with me. Okay, and this is so important. What a beautiful place to be. Thank you for sharing your beautiful energy with us. And that doesn't mean you're going to stay alone. I don't actually see you being single. I see that there is a new relationship coming. I want to say this to you, like Spirit's kind of nudging me. It was like, actually, I feel like it's your mom here. It was nudging me, because we're on the shoulder going, don't forget to mention that this isn't like, the end, right? In fact, it's the culmination, and it's the integration and the awareness, the harvesting of all the seeds you've planted this year is just this peace and the calm that you feel in your body. And what's coming is the love that's emanating from you being magnetized into your life through a variety of different relationships. Okay. And there is a special someone, but this one is next level. I want to say up leveling, mirroring back to you this deeper body of work that you've done. Okay. That's my message for you tonight, Rhonda. Thank you for being here tonight. Hope that was helpful. Beautiful. Let's go with, okay, we'll take Amy's question and then we'll take the new member question. Okay, Ariel, with me? Okay, Amy. Amy says, hi Sabrina, I want to see what my spirit guides see in my future for my new love interest. His name is Nathan. Okay, I really like him so far. I want to make sure his intentions are pure towards me. Okay, Amy. So, So the part of you that's second guessing this is not wrong. Okay. I feel like you already know in your body that there's some things here that you're not completely comfortable with. Um, there's more to know here. Okay. I don't think that this is a bad person. I don't dislike his energy. I don't think he's not well intentioned. I just don't know if he's as serious as you would like him to be. Okay. So, this is my psychic hit. I feel that that again, there's an energy of lack and longing here as you're talking about this relationship, and it's going to manifest in the relationship at some point. I actually feel like you're going to experience that lack, or you're going to experience that longing within this dynamic. Okay. And I don't, of course, I'm trying to give you, this message with love and respect. I know it's a new love and it can be exciting in the newness of it. I want you to stay grounded and not get swept away in the current of this. Okay. So it's important that you pace yourself. Spirit wants you to know that. Of course, any friend would tell you that, but this is very important for you in your process, that you pace yourself, especially because I feel like you can get swept away. I feel like you can get sort of lose yourself in relationship. And so stay grounded and really pace your getting to know this person. I feel like, again, Nathan is not as serious as you'd like him to be. Okay. I feel like there's a lot of playfulness. There's a strong chemistry. There's a lot of fun that you're having. If you can relate to this relationship as fun and light and friendship and something that just you're going to experience just to feel joy, just to feel desire, just to feel attractive, if you can take it light in a lighthearted way, then enjoy it. Okay. But if there's a part of you, which I feel could be truer, that really wants, connection and stability and depth and monogamy and seriousness, this might not be your guy. Okay. So that's my message for you. Just keep it light. That's the best advice I can give you, and really go learn. Of course, when you're meeting people and you feel like you're attracted to people who can't meet you at that place of love, or at that place of what you're really, really deeply desiring, I want you to recognize, number one, there's perhaps a part of you that's not being 100% honest with yourself about, the kind of person you're attracting, or even honest with the person in terms of what it is that you want. So there's some self-honesty work that needs to be done here. I keep hearing that message is like, sit down and really get honest with yourself about the kind of relationship you want to be in, what you're bringing to the relationship, the kind of work you're prepared to do, what you're not going to settle for, what your standard in love is. And once you get clear on that, you're going to find yourself being attracted to a very different type of person. Okay. And again, there's nothing bad about Nathan. I actually like his energy. It's just, it doesn't have the depth and the seriousness and the kind of commitment that you're looking for at this time. Okay. That's my message for you tonight, Amy. Okay. And I say it with so much love and so much respect. I'm sending you so much support for your healing process, and of course, manifesting a relationship that meets all of your needs. Okay, who's next? Shiloh. Shiloh says, hi, beauty and community. What's from my past is meant to come with me into this new chapter, not to be left behind. Also, that man is not for me. Any past words you gave me, will they come to pass? Okay, so what from my past is meant to come with me into this new chapter? Okay, so it's up to you to remember any past readings that I've given for you. So make sure you're taking notes, or make sure you come back and watch a replay so you can remember the portion of the reading from any past broadcasts. Okay, Shiloh, what's meant to come with you is your resilience, your strength, your determination, and your vision for a better life. So you have been in a process. Spirit is sort of showing me that you've been in this process of like a total life upgrade, upgrading not only the relationship you have with yourself, but also what it looks like on a circumstantial level. And these two have been mirroring each other. Okay, you're in a better environment. You're in a a nicer environment. You're feeling more stability, more security, at least financially, it feels like. So what's coming with you is the standard that you've set to feel like seen and honored and valued. It's more like a felt experience, okay, not a tangible thing that you're taking with you. I don't see any moves or relocation or anything like that. All that stays the same. I do feel like you're opening yourself up, and I think we talked about this man before. So I feel like this was meant to sort of be playful and flirtatious and just open you up to the possibility of love in your life. Even having those thoughts and those feelings is important for you to sort of get out of this rut of like, just focusing on work all the time. There's been a lot of focus on career and finances in 2025. And I feel like there's an easing up of that in the coming year, where you're just a little more relaxed around feeling safe and provided for. And when you're not worried about your survival, what happens is there's space to focus on other things. There's space to let in other experiences. You can enjoy your life more. You can be present more. And you can just trust where you are. I feel like 2026, you're going to take a deep breath. Chachao says, yes, that makes sense. So I feel like in 2026, you're kind of taking a sigh. It's a sigh of relief. It's more than a deep breath. It's a sigh of relief going, I'm not in survival mode anymore. I can go on dates. I can say yes to things that feel aligned. I can say no when it doesn't feel aligned. Like I feel like you've really developed this standard of operating that you're taking with you, and you're going to see the results of that. Okay. So you're not settling for less than what you've accomplished. We're not going backwards, right? There's a real determination in your higher self, is kind of sort of channeling through me saying we're not ever going back to that survival mode. We've learned so much, we've integrated so much, we've opened ourselves up to so much. I actually feel like your spiritual practice is opening up as well. Okay. And that's going to bring in some inspiration, some comfort, some reassurance, some sense of connection to something bigger than you. Okay. Which is, of course, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, it's what we all need. We need it to sort of lull us through this period of the unknown, the void, what's between, the past and the future. So yeah, this is important. Okay. So I want you to just, I want you to trust that good things are coming. I know it's a very simple affirmation, but it's very empowering too. It takes the pressure off any particular attachment to outcomes, any particular circumstances, and really just, she says, yes, okay, good. Just trust good things are coming. I'm living a good life. I am comfortable. All of my needs are met. I'm feeling deeply fulfilled with myself. Okay. And I know I always feel, Mary Magdalene, when I channel for you, there is a real energy around feeling wrapped in this maternal, feminine, archetypal feminine energy, where it's not about sacrificing. It's really about empowerment. It's about you feeling uplifted in your feminine essence and honoring your own gifts and leaning into her as one of your guides as well. Okay. In your spiritual practice, I feel that very strongly as I'm reading for you. Okay. So that's what's coming. There's a lot. There's a lot here for you to contemplate. Okay. I don't like to give details in outcomes. Sometimes that happens, especially if it's right there. But like it feels like a slow easing into you settling into a life that you've really worked hard to build, and learning to take a deep breath and just trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and starting to say yes to more aligned relationships. There is a romantic partner coming. But it's not at least until the first half of the year is done. Okay. So just keep that in mind. There's favorable conditions for romance once you are a bit more settled in. Okay. That's my message for you tonight, channel. Thank you for being here. Beautiful. Okay. Who's next? Hi, Demi. Demi says, hi, Sabrina. I wanted to see what my guides have to say regarding my relationship with me and my partner and what's in store for us. Okay. Mm. I feel like I want to say there's a lot of shadow work that needs to be done here. So I'll give you my psychic hit and then I'll give you my spiritual guidance, like I always do. And I have, what's going to happen questions or what's the outcome question. Um, there's a deeper intimacy that needs to be created in terms of truth and transparency about what it is that you both like, what you're both into, what you both want. Okay. So, and once you really start exploring that, I feel like there's a renewed attraction or a renewed sense of, oh, this is why we're together. Okay. This is very specific. Okay. Um, and and I feel like there's a lot of growth here. In fact, there are some things about each other that you don't really know yet. And I know this can feel a little abstract, but as you go deeper into these intimate conversations, even about your sexuality, about your goals, your deep desires. Okay, there's a lot of conversation about deep desires that if you have these conversations and you go into them with maturity and an open mind, it can really sort of open up the dialogue between the two of you and allow you to renew. There's a sense of renewal here. Okay, so there isn't a sense of letting go, but there's a sense of letting go of the old relationship, the old dynamic, things that sometimes when we reinvent ourselves, we're not necessarily changing partners or changing the circumstances. We think of reinvention, we think I'm going to change everything around me, but it's really about shifting the internal perspective and being able to see things in a new way. This is the renewal between you and him. Okay. It's very clear that there is a need for deeper, more intimate dialogue, or maybe even talking about some secrets, some things you've been ashamed of or have been afraid to share. And this will be very healing for you. It'll create some shifts in both of you. Both of you need to come clean to each other about whatever it is you haven't been fully transparent about. And and that's going to inspire the relationship. Okay, there's a sense of renewal in this relationship as I feel it. Okay, and of course, this is my spiritual guidance is always the same. Everything reflects everything, right? So when you do the work to really honor yourself and love yourself and meet yourself with compassion and non-judgment, your relationship will meet you there. That all of a sudden will become possible in your relationships, not just with your partner, but with everybody, right? When we hold ourselves in judgment, that judgment is mirrored back to us by other people. It can be even strangers that will judge us because we're holding ourselves in judgment. Okay. So notice that the relationship you have with self is the only one you're ever having. And so this relationship with your partner, of course, with all of our significant others, it's always the most sacred container because this is where we really get to see, how we feel about ourselves, right? There's a deep intimacy again that gets created in these romantic partnerships where now every part of me is reflected back to me in this relationship, every part of me that I love and every part of me that I don't love. Okay. That's what's going on here. So see him as your mirror. See whether it's the things that you like and appreciate and the things that you don't like. See how he's might be mirroring those things to you. Okay. There's something else I didn't say that's coming through right now that I didn't say at the beginning, and of course it's always perfect. So this is where I meant to share it with you. When we are triggered at any point, it can be in your partnership, in life, or whatever, going through this void phase where we're not sure and it's bringing up grief or it's bringing up any kind of emotion. Whenever you feel triggered to experience something uncomfortable, the current circumstances are not the reason for your uncomfortable emotions. The circumstances are triggering a wound that's been there your whole life. Okay. So if whatever you're feeling, when you're grieving, all of a sudden now you're grieving not just the current circumstances, but you're grieving everything you've ever let go of in your life. Okay. When you're in anger, you're not just in anger about the current circumstances, but the rage that has essentially is not processed from every moment of anger in your life shows up to be released. Okay. So this is a very important context for those of us on a spiritual journey, on a self-development journey. When we're healing, we're not reacting to the circumstances. The circumstances are presenting an opportunity to heal deeper unresolved emotions. Okay. And that's what's going on between you and your partner. There's a deep mirroring happening here, the need for shadow work and the need for transparent dialogue so that you can create a new way of relating to each other. Okay. That's my message for you tonight. Hopefully that resonates for you, Demi. Come back and let me know if it does. I would love to hear about it. Okay. Beautiful. And for those of you that are receiving readings, please validate. Okay. Offer feedback. Let me know. Any feedback is good feedback. Even if it doesn't resonate for you, please always be transparent with me. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Who's next? Steffi says, so lovely, your guidance during the holidays. Aw, I'm so happy you're here, Steffi. We all appreciate. Hope to book short reading before 2026. Yay. I would love to see you in a reading. Wishing you and this community wonderful things. Thank you so much, Steffi, for being here. We love you so much. Thank you for your support and encouragement. Who's next, Lyriel? Hi, Jolie. I'm sorry, I talk so much that my throat gets dry. Jolie says, hi, Sabrina Rising and everyone. Would love a message for me entering this next chapter. Okay. Ease, I think, is really the word. This is the pattern tonight in everybody's reading. It's like ease and smooth transition and really reckoning like with yourself. It's not just the end of a year, it's the end of a year 9. And so it's the end of a year of completion and endings and letting go and losses and all that stuff. And so, as you mourn the loss of your old identity, I really want you to make peace with your relationship to material things. It's very important for you, Jolie. Of course, it's important for everybody, so everybody pay attention. Sometimes we get attached to living. She says, thank goodness. Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about material things. Let's talk about identifying with a life of comfort and means and all of that. There's nothing wrong with those things, okay? But sometimes we can let our attachment to those things sort of govern our choices and direct our actions and propel us into situations that don't align with us, okay? So, you're being asked to find joy and fulfillment with the little things, with a simpler life. And I find that if you actually accept where you are right now, it's going to open up a whole new way of enjoying life, of being present, of being at peace with yourself. You're holding on to an old life, an old identity that doesn't fit you anymore. This is on par with our topic tonight, is how do I know I've outgrown my life? And she says, yes, I have been mourning that life, but I am letting it go. Okay, good. Beautiful. Thank you for validating. So, and again, what you're mourning is a phase of your life where you had to have certain experiences just to know you could, just to know they're available, just to make peace with it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's where you belong, right? And so oftentimes we attach our circumstances to something we did or something we said or a person that we were at that time, but you're not that person anymore. Right? So the more you hold on to this old version of yourself, the less you're able to accomplish the same goals that you used to, right? So it's counterproductive. So what you want to do is just let go of your attachment to the life you used to have and lean into where your soul is calling you to go next. And the letting go allows you to soften your resistance and to let go of any judgments you may have of yourself and open up your heart to new possibilities going forward. And it's from that place of openness and willingness to grow that you're able to manifest abundance from ease and flow and infinite supply, which we all have access to. You just don't have access to an infinite supply when you think it's you making it work and having to hustle and grind and do the things to generate the income and generate the lifestyle and all this stuff. This is a trap. Okay. So it's not the way it's meant to work. You can manifest things at the level of ego. If your identity really, really wants something, you can work really hard and make things happen in your life. If you are very attached to material surroundings and circumstances, that reflect material success, but this is not sustainable. It's not a sustainable way of operating. Usually there's something that happens along the way where actually these things get taken away, or it comes at a cost, right? Your health, your inner peace, the relationship with your child, and so on. So what we're moving to is allowing, is flowful, easeful living, which doesn't mean going with less. It just means being content with what you have, and being content with what you have is the foundation for more. Okay. This is so important for anybody who's manifesting more income, more money for 2026, for bigger, better life, more ease and flow, and so on. These are the principles. Is when I allow and I soften and I keep my heart open to the realm of infinite possibilities, I give myself access to infinite supply. Okay. And this is only going to happen if you follow your heart, right? Not your attachments to the old way of operating, or your fears of lack and scarcity. Okay. This is so important. This is a message for you. 2026 is, I'm going to trust I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it logically don't feel like I can make as much as I used to, even if it just, seems like I'm taking a huge risk, or I'm maybe even acting irresponsibly. Let it all go and learn to follow your soul nudges. You're meant to work with children. I really feel that strongly for you. And you're meant to work in some capacity that allows you to heal your own inner child, because that's the part of you that really needs to heal. Okay. Of course, this is the second time I mentioned that tonight. So here we go. There's always patterns in every show that we do, every broadcast that we do. There's always a message for everybody. Okay. So again, we're always looking at the inner child part, looking at our conditioning, and that's what there is for you to heal here. Okay, Jenny, that's my message for you tonight. There's a lot to contemplate, so come back and listen to this portion of the broadcast so you can really be with the messages, and trust that from that place of allowing and softening and trusting those soul nudges, you're able to tap into infinite supply. Okay. Yes, I am allowing. I feel that very much. Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you for being here, Jolie. Wonderful. Okay. Who's next? Okay. Hi, Valerie. Valerie says, "Hi, Sabrina. Love from Ireland. Amazing. Nice to have you here in our community. Subscribed. I'm told by housing department, me and my children will be moving to a better house in Jan-Feb time when the house is ready. Does it feel like it's coming soon?" Okay. 2 kids. Feel like is just you and 2 kids. Are you a single parent? If you're here, please validate. Okay, so the answer to your question is yes. The short answer is yes, there is a move coming, and it feels like it feels greener and more naturey wherever you're going. It actually feels like you're moving to an area that's less urban, or there's less people, there's less, I want to say even safer, maybe even less crime. Okay. All the things that go along with being in a densely urban environment. Okay. So it feels like you will be going to not just a better quality structure, but a safer environment. The safe is the word that really comes through as I'm tuning into the energy of your question. Okay. So, and I actually feel like there's more support coming as well. Like there's something around being able to provide more for your kids. Even the community that you're going to, I feel like there are other children around, that your children will make new friends, and there'll be more shared resources amongst your community members. I don't know if you're going into a sort of a communal living situation or tight community situation, but there's like, it feels like it takes a village here, and this is showing up for you and your family wherever it is that you're moving to. Okay. So this is beautiful. It feels like it's closer to the end of February, to be honest. Okay. Just to, just set the expectation. The timelines are tricky because you can accelerate a timeline with your positive thinking, with your alignment, with your trust, with your deep surrender to letting go of outcomes and trusting that you're going to have all of your needs met, that you're a person who gets all of her needs met. This is so important for you. Of course, anybody listening, I am willing to have all of my needs met. This is such a beautiful affirmation. I am someone who gets all of my needs met. It doesn't matter if it's in a relationship or at work or so on. Figure out what your needs are and co-create with spirit that you are meeting those needs in a way that is fulfilling, in a way that is easeful, peaceful, sustainable. And you're able to provide that not only for yourself, but also for your children, okay, which are going to benefit from this new environment that you're going into. Actually feels like I can see hardwood floors. It feels like an older style hardwood floors, and it feels like a either two-story walk-up or you're on the second floor of a walk-up, and it feels like it's a safer environment for you and your children, and there's more provision there. There's a deeper sense of community, safer. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. I'm not sure if you're still here. You can come back and watch this portion of the video for your reading, and then leave us a comment, okay, and let us know how that unfolds for you, okay. And I'm sending you blessings for an easeful transition in the new year, and thank you for subscribing. For all those of you that are watching, that are here, that are present, that join us week after week, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I almost always forget to ask. So like and subscribe. Thank you, everybody. Okay. I think we're going to wrap there. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Amy, thank you for becoming a new member, although I don't see a question. We're going to end our broadcast tonight, honey. It's already 6 o'clock. I don't know where the time goes. Thank you so much for joining me live. For those of you that didn't get your questions answered, I'm here every week at 5 p.m. Pacific. Our next one is December 31st, New Year's Eve, which I will be live at 10 a.m. Pacific. So it's the only other time we're changing the broadcast is on New Year's Eve to honor the new year. And if you have plans for New Year's Eve, I have plans with my children. So I will see you at 10 a.m. Pacific for the New Year's Eve celebration. Please bring your questions and put them in the chat and be ready to receive the guidance that comes through for you. For those of you that don't want to wait, if you want a one-to-one intimate experience with me, channeling messages on your behalf, connecting you with your loved ones, and obviously serving you whatever serves your highest and best good from your higher self, there is the link to book a reading. Okay, so thank you, Lariel, for putting that on screen. And you can always join the channel. As I mentioned, you can come to our next Oracle gathering and be part of the community. Part of the Oracle membership, one of the perks is a private Facebook group that we run. And there is live that I do there on Tuesday mornings, where I do deeper coaching, Q&As, and so on. So there's more closer proximity to me. And Lyriel does intuitive tarot on Fridays, which is a lot of fun for everybody as well. Okay, so don't be shy to join our growing community and receive deeper messages, and to be seen and held and supported in community as well. Okay, so I send you all of my love. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. Thank you all for your beautiful, beautiful questions. I will see you on December 31st. Good night.